Hola, soy yo, Vicky, otra vez. It's me, Vicky, again. Hope you're all well. Espero que todo bien en este diciembre de 2020. We're in December of 2020, and what a year it's been. Most of us can't wait to see the back of it, but of course, there's always, there's no guarantee that 2021 will be that much better, certainly not the early part. But I think already perhaps we're seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. Let's hope so. Anyway, so one good thing about the confinement or the lockdown in Spain, it's el confinamiento, and we are free to do more or less what we want at the moment in Spain, except for between 12 midnight and 6 in the morning. But yeah, obviously it's not the same. We can go out, we can do things, but we have to wear our masks. We have to observe social distance, and it's still difficult to see your family and friends in a normal way. But yeah, light at the end of the tunnel, vaccines rolling out. Hopefully by this time next year, we'll be millionaires. No, hopefully by this time next year, it'll all be something to talk about, not something to live through. So the good thing, yeah, hopefully you've been able to learn quite a lot of Spanish during the lockdowns, etc. It's, to put your time to constructive use. I've certainly found that I've been able to do lots more YouTube videos, which is good, and they seem to be popular because I've got quite a lot of subscribers now. So thank you to everyone who's subscribed. Today, what we're going to look at are ordinal numbers. So in other words, ordinal numbers are numbers that tell us what order things go in. That's quite sort of easy to understand. Ordinal, it describes the order of things. So in English, it's like first, second, third, fourth, fifth, etc. And in Spanish, these numbers, they are adjectives. They are describing a noun. The first woman, the second dog, the third house, etc. So they do have to take the gender and the number of the noun. So if it's the first man, it's masculine singular. If it's the first woman, it's feminine singular. If it's the first houses, that feminine, house, casa is feminine, and houses are plural. So these numbers that we're going to learn, we do have to remember that they do take a gender, in other words, masculine or feminine, and a number, singular or plural. Vale, okay, so I'm going to put everything in the description box. The actual numbers, I probably will put them in English for you to find in Spanish, and then you can check them on the video. I'll read them out obviously in Spanish on the video. We're going to look at the numbers themselves. Then we're going to do a few sentences translating from English to Spanish, and then a little translation, a very short translation using the ordinal numbers. Now, if you have the up-to-date, updated Break the Language Barrier Level 4, it is on page 65. This, sorry, that's the answers. The actual, let me find where the actual section is with the exercises. Oh yeah, no, it is page 65, sorry. I thought that was the answers, but it's not. So yeah, page 65 of the updated level 4, Break the Language Barrier level 4, which is available on any Amazon site or here at the centre. It's I'd say approximately €15. That's what it's supposed to be, but sometimes on Amazon they charge a little bit less. It's normally a little bit less rather than more on Amazon. Okay, so first is primero or primera. So it depends if you're saying the first man or the first woman, for example. Another thing with primero is if you are describing something singular and masculine, you drop the O. So if you were saying the first man on the moon, for example, be el primer hombre en la luna. Whereas if it was the first woman on the moon, it would be la primera mujer en la luna. Okay, second is segundo or segunda. Third, tercero or tercera. And that again takes, if you're saying the third book, if it's masculine singular, you say el tercer libro, not tercero. For some unknown reason, who knows why, back in the midst of time, when somebody decided they weren't going to say tercero, they were going to say tercer. Just that's the way it is, unfortunately. I don't have any better reason than that. Fourth is cuarto or cuarta. Fifth, this is the one that people always struggle with. The fives are difficult, I think, because, well, 5 is cinco, and you've got 15, which is quince. You've got 500, which is quinientos. They're always slightly different from the rest. And fifth is quinto, Quinto, or quinta, of course. So remember the QU is pronounced like a K. So it's quinto, not quinto or quinta. Then we've got 6, which is sexto or sexta. 7th, SÉPTIMO or SÉPTIMA. 8th, OCTAVO or OCTAVA. 9th, NOVENO or NOVENA. And 10th, DÉCIMO or DÉCIMA. For now, we'll just go up to the 10th. I'm going to explain later on what happens when you come to 11th, 12th, 13th, etc. Now, something else that's important to remember, which is in English, we use these ordinal numbers for dates, don't we? It's the 1st of March. I went on holiday on the 14th of April. In Spanish, for dates, we don't use these numbers. So you wouldn't say el tercero de marzo. I mean, you can say that's not really wrong to say it, and you would be understood, but in Spanish, we would be more likely to say the 3 of March. So you say el 3 de marzo on the 3rd of March, en el 3 de marzo, not actually en el tercero de marzo. So that's an important thing to remember. Like if somebody asks you when your birthday is, ¿cuándo es tu cumpleaños? And in English, obviously, I would say the 16th of August. Pero en español es el 16 de agosto, just the 16th of August. So that's important to remember. With dates, don't use these with dates. These are to be used with, like when you're saying, no, it's the 3rd car on the left, or it's his 5th film, or, something like that. Okay, so we're going to look at some sentences. I'll read it out in English, then in Spanish, and I'm going to put only the English in the description box, so then you can actually look for the translation and then watch the video to check if you've got it right. If you want to do that first before you even listen to the video, or you might want to listen to the video first, then go back to the description box, find them, and come back and see if you've got them right. So, you've got to find your way. Some people just like to listen, don't like to do any writing. So you find your way. If you want to write them down, I personally would always advise writing things down as well as listening. I'm not saying that listening is not important, of course it is. But for me personally, I think writing it down is how you remember. Listening is good, and that's good for tuning your ear in, etc. But if you don't write it down, you don't remember it. And I think that has been scientifically proven. Of course, everyone's a different type of learner. Some people are audio learners in the sense of they have to listen to it and can't do it written down. So you have to find what suits you as a student. Don't worry what anybody else does. All you have to worry about is how it works for you. If it works for you just listening, just listen. If it works for you writing it down, write it down. Find your comfort zone. That's what's important. And remember that everybody's different. Okay, so number one in this practice A is if, as I say, you have the Break the Language Barrier updated level 4 book. If you don't, doesn't matter, you can still follow it with what I say here and what will be written in the description. So, numero uno. I lived in the second house on the left and Miguel lived in the sixth. So, I lived, well, we're presuming you lived there more than one day. So, what tense would that be? Imperfect, I hear you say. So, vivía, or yo vivía, if you want it, because vivía, of course, could be I or he or she. Vivía, or yo vivía, en la segunda casa a la izquierda. So, it's segunda, because casa is feminine. Y Miguel vivía, again, he used to live, really, isn't it? He didn't just live there in one day. Y Miguel vivía en la sexta, ¿ya? Yo vivía en la segunda casa a la izquierda y Miguel vivía en la sexta. Okay, number two, número dos. I don't know who lives in the 8th house, but Carmen lives in the 7th. That's the English. Present tense, yeah? I don't know. Whenever you're translating, first thing to me that I would recommend that you do, find the verb, yeah? I don't know, lives, two lives in there. What tense is it? What person is it? Everything else fits in around that, okay? So, I don't know who lives in the 8th house. No sé quién vive en la 8ª casa, pero Carmen vive en la 7ª. ¿Vale? Okay, número 3. My car is the 3rd on the right and Pedro's car is the 4th. So, mi coche es el tercer. Vale, so it's tercero because he's not following it with the noun. Mi coche es el tercero a la derecha y el coche de Pedro, remember we can't say Pedro's car, we have to say the car of Pedro. Y el coche de Pedro es el cuarto, ¿vale? Número 4. The Bible tells us that Adam was the first person and Eve was the second. So, la Biblia nos dice, present tense, tells us, so we're using a pronoun there. La Biblia nos dice que Adán fue la primera persona. So, persona is feminine. So, fue la primera persona y Eva, or Eve, fue la segunda. So, again, it's persona, even though, well, it is a woman anyway, Eva, but it's feminine because of persona, not because of Eva, because Adam is also feminine, because he's a persona as well. So, la Biblia nos dice que Adán fue la primera persona y Eva fue la segunda. And we could use era there as well, I think, because I'm sort of working on the premise of the pre-treat, but really, I think this is one of those cases where it could be fue or era, because they were always the first person as well. Okay, so number 5, número 5. or la quinta pregunta, the fifth question. Well, it's not technically a question, but for me, the first film in a series will always be better than the second. So, para mí, la primera película, so película is feminine, la primera película en una serie siempre será, it will always be, future, siempre será mejor que la segunda. Número 6. Tom Cruise's third film was better than his fourth. So, la cuarta película de Tom Cruise fue mejor que su cuarta. ¿Vale? So again, película feminine. Vale, Lee Child's fifth book was more exciting than the sixth, but his seventh was the best of all. So, el quinto libro de Lee Child's fue más emocionante que el sexto, pero su séptimo fue el mejor de todo. Vale. Sorry, I was just laughing there because I had a student who said instead of sexto, said sexo. So they said el libro quinto de Lee Child fue más emocionante que el sexo. So it's more interesting and exciting than sex. So obviously it was a very exciting book. Well, it depends. Bueno, basta. That's enough to say. I get myself into trouble here. So, número 8. The first day of the week is Monday, and the 7th is Sunday. So, el primer día, so this is first, so we drop the O, masculine singular. Día is one of those that sometimes people get confused with because it ends in A, but it's masculine. So, el primer día de la semana es lunes, y el séptimo, and the 7th, es domingo. Okay, número 9. August is the 8th month, September the 9th, and October is the 10th. So, agosto es el octavo mes, septiembre el noveno, y octubre es el 10º. Vale, número 10, the last one. The first time I went to Spain was better than the second. The third was a lot of fun, but the fourth was my favourite. This is practically true of my life, which in fact the translation is as well, which you'll see in a minute. So, the first time, la primera vez fui a España, fue mejor que la segunda, feminine, yeah. La tercera fue muy divertido, pero la cuarta fue mi favorita. So all those are feminine because vez, again, bit deceptive because it doesn't end in an A, is feminine. So, la primera vez que fui a España fue mejor que la segunda. La tercera fue muy divertido, pero la cuarta fue mi favorita. Okay, now before I just go on to the little translation, I want to explain to you about 11th, 12th, etc. So 10th is décimo, yeah, décimo, which is in the description box. And it has an accent on the E. Now, when we go to 11th, we say décimo uno. Décimo primero, sorry. Forgot myself then. So you're almost saying 10th first. Décimo primero. And you lose the accent and it all becomes one word. So, 11th, décimo primero. 12th, décimo segundo. Yeah? 10th, second. 13th, décimo tercero. ¿Vale? 14th, décimo cuarto. etc., etc. So that's how you do 11th, 12th, 13th, etc. Okay, so let's have a look at this little translation, which uses the ordinal numbers, and as I say, is more or less like a weekend in my life. But, well, if I'm lucky, not at the moment, not going out much at the moment with the confinamiento, but anyway. So I'm going to read it in Spanish. Now I'm going to put it in English in the description box, so you can have a go at translating it and then check it on the video. So, cuando salíamos, mi mejor amigo y yo competimos para ver quién puede beber el más vodka. Por ejemplo, yo bebía 1 y él bebía 2. Entonces, yo bebía 3 y, bebía 3 y él bebía 4. La primera persona para dejar de beber fue el perdedor y ganó la otra persona. La primera fue fácil y la segunda también. La tercera también fue buena. De la cuarta, desde la cuarta llegó a ser más difícil. La quinta fue un reto, también la sexta, la séptima y la octava. La novena siempre era una niebla y nunca recordaba la décima. Yes, I remember going out. Vale. Okay, muy bien. So, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments or send me a message. If there's anything you'd like me to cover in a video that you're not sure about and you'd like explaining the best way I can, please let me know. Thank you, everyone who's subscribed. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. I'm really hoping to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Got a couple of weeks left and I've still got to get about 114 or something like that to get to 1,000. It'd just be so nice to finish this horrible year off with it, you know, a positive thing. Give me the thumbs up if you found the video useful. That helps me a lot as well. Subscribe is free, completely free. You don't pay anything to subscribe. You just press the button, and then if you want the notifications, you press the bell, and you'll always be told when a new video comes out, which actually at the moment I'm doing my aim, and well, I'm going to do it. I've sort of made a decision. Every Tuesday and Thursday there will be a new video on learning Spanish and on learning English, because I do videos for learning English as well. So if you know anybody who's trying to learn English, who's Spanish, because I do videos with explanations videos to learn English with explanations in Spanish. Okay, ya está. Muchas gracias. I'll be back before Christmas. That's why I'm not wishing people a Merry Christmas yet. I'll be back for a special Christmas video. The next week is the Christmas week. So next Tuesday and Thursday will be special Christmas videos. So take care. Cuídate and lleva la mascarilla. Okay, so I'll see you in the next... Oh, no, es español. Te veo en el próximo video. Lo siento. Vale, hasta luego.